Good morning, Algebra 2 students. So this is the third week of online learning, but it's also the last week of the 6 weeks. I don't know how the end of the 6 weeks is really going to work with online stuff, or whether you're going to get a report card or what, but I do know that despite it all, the education system still requires that I test you. So we have to have a 6 weeks test, which I will give as the assignment on Thursday. And it's going to be open notes test, meaning you can look at the prior videos or anything like that in order to do it, because you're at home and it's not like I can monitor you and make sure you don't do it anyway. So I'm just going to say, yes, that's allowed. So today I wrote up some test review. It's going to be over the stuff we've learned so far online, the converting between logarithmic and exponential equations and the solving exponential equations. And then also some things we covered earlier this 6 weeks before spring break, mostly transformations of rational functions. So I will do a couple of problems from the test review, and then we will go for it. So I wanted to review transformations since we haven't talked about that in a while. So the first 4 problems on the test review are describing transformations based on a function, and the next 4 are writing a function based on the transformation description. There's a document attached to the assignment that has the transformation key that tells you, add addition outside gets you shift up, addition inside gets you shift left, etc. So you can use that as a reference. But number 4 looks like this. Okay, so first thing you might want to think about is how many transformations are happening. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't know that unless I give you the parent function. So this is all from the parent function 1 over x. That's the parent rational function, okay? So how many transformations are happening? Okay, so I bet that some people were thinking 3. That's a common answer, 3. You're thinking the plus 3 is 1, the plus 1 is 1, and the 0.4 is 1. But don't forget, with transformations, negative is its own transformation. The negative does something different than the numbers. So it's actually 4 transformations here, okay? So let's talk about what they each do. The one that most people find the easiest is the plus 1, okay? That is addition outside the function. Remember, for rational functions, outside the function means outside the fraction, right? Outside the fraction. So addition outside the function gets you what? Right, shift up. Shift up 1 unit, okay? All right, after that, let me see. I'm going to put a little check mark next to that one. Okay, after that, we've got the plus 3. So this is addition inside the function, okay? So what is addition inside the function? And in this case, remember, inside the function, addition inside, means that it is part of the denominator. It goes along with the x, right? Inside the function goes wherever the x goes. So it's down here in the bottom with the x. Inside the function, if you look at your reference sheet, gets you, it gets you a shift left. And remember, that's the one that's a little bit counterintuitive because you might think plus would go more positive to the right, but it's the opposite. Shift left 3 units. Okay? All right, so that gets that one. We talked about how the negative sign is a whole transformation on its own. So what does that negative out front do? Yes, that does a reflection. And is it across the x-axis or the y-axis when it's out front of the function? Good, x-axis. If it was across the y-axis, it would be down here with the x, right? Inside the function goes with the x, outside the function is elsewhere. So our last one is this 0.4, right? What does that do? So 0.4, if you recall, if we had a times 1 over x, this a ends up going a times 1, which is just a over x. So in other words, we talked about this in class, a number multiplied outside the function, multiplied out front, ends up being in the denominator. Okay? A number multiplied out front ends up being, in the numerator. Oh my gosh. Forget I said that. So, multiplication out front ends up being in the numerator on top. Okay? Multiplication out front ends up being on top. So this is multiplication outside the function when it's on top. And that is vertical. And this is 0.4. Is that more or less than 1? Yeah, that is less. So if a is less than 1, that is good, compression. All right. So these are the 4 transformations happening here. Shift up 1 unit, shift left 3 units, reflection across x-axis, vertical compression. You type this whole thing into your Google form answer thing. You can't draw arrows, but that's okay because you also have room. So you can just write shift up 1, left 3, reflect across x, and you can just write VC if you want. Okay, so that is an example of getting the transformations from the function. Now, on the opposite, if we do reverse, number 8, I'm going to write these in different colors. Number 8 says vertical stretch by a factor of 4. It says shift left 1 unit. It says shift down 7 units. And it says